Okay, Sunday, August 7th, 2022, crude oil. What's going on other than continuing corrective action, threes everywhere, overlapping everywhere. Very difficult to trade unless you got short a while ago and just left it alone. But man, that's hard to do with the thing whipping all around. Here's a daily. These are just the levels that I've been looking at for months. Just look at this wave structure. Just even at a glance, you can just see this. This is corrective. This is non-trending. It's kind of wild and very difficult. And as many of the members at ElliottWaveTrade.net have warned, it's good for scalpers in both directions, but don't get chopped up. Expect a couple of months of this craziness, and that's exactly what happened. It's still happening. So it's reaching lower, trying to finish a 4, or, what are the odds that these degrees are wrong and that this is going to come much deeper? I don't know. It's above my pay grade, but just listening to all the fundamental talk, it seems very unlikely that it would get this low. It seems much more probable that we're near a bottom, which would be great because wave 5 is, a lot higher. And it would be fun just to be swing trading longs a little bit more than all this sort of maniacal scalping, and it requires a lot of attention. But anyway, I'll just leave it at that, right? Okay, so going down, let's see, go down a level to the 4-hour. And one thing that I've noticed is that whatever levels that I put on this thing, it just crisscrosses them, it violates them in both directions. It's just wild. So, it's a bunch of threes. There's no standard anything in terms of impulses in either direction that I can find. Maybe some wave C's internally in a wave C. There's some standard stuff happening, but all of this, at least the way I count stuff, it's very non-standard in term, which is telling you something. Actually, it's telling you it's corrective. It's moving in threes. Okay, that's a big help. And you put a pivot on there, and it comes up, spikes above it. No matter where I put a pivot, occasionally internally it works on the subwave. Sometimes a pivot will actually hold. And then look at this, A equals C to the downside. So it hits it, comes up, fake out, lower low, comes all the way back up to the top of what I'm calling a downside pivot for a potential wave C, just to finish off this wave 4. And to me, it looks like 83. And by the way, 83 it coincides with sort of the top of this box that's been on there for a long time, which really is just me splitting the difference between the 236 and the 382. There's no science there. It's just guessing. But, that happens to be right around 83. And then now, later in time, like months later, now I actually have some fibs down just under 83, depending on how you measure it. There's some confluence down there, depending on, I don't know which is right, which is the correct way to measure it. So I measure it any which way that I can measure it and just sort of pay attention to confluences. So, could this be the bottom? Yeah, I guess so, sure. I don't think so, but it could be. That could be, but structurally it just looks horrible, and the way this reacted. Now let's zoom in on that area. Boom. So, does this look like that's the bottom? And not to me, but I don't know. So look, I'm just measuring stuff, and the micro is highly unreliable. So look, could this come up? Absolutely it could, because a B, I'm calling this a B, but if this is a B, it came up almost to the 50%. It's not unusual to see a B, right, go a lot higher, up 618 or even beyond for a B wave. So, I won't be surprised if this comes up and crosses, I consider this a significant level. It actually goes way back, and sometimes I do that because price has memory. You can just kind of see how price has been interacting with a level going back in time, and then here it is interacting with that same level again. The way I'm counting it is if this is a 3 and that's a 4, then it got below that level, and then it got rejected at that level. So why can't this be the start of another C? So somewhere there'll be a bounce for a 2, and then there'll be a heart of a wave 3, which we'll all know that that's what that is likely. Then there'll be some other bounce, and then so maybe that will follow standards. But now this, on the micro, the way this is counting, it does project a little bit lower than what I'm seeing on these other measurements here. So, but the micro, it is what it is. So, there is another chance for this A equals C for it to come a little deeper down here, 81, 88. So I'm of no use really. It could bounce, it could come way up here, it could come all the way up to here as a B wave, sure. But I would love to see this just give a little bit more downside, hold, maybe get a wave 2, and then make a new low, and then we can do some measuring and see if where that projects to. All right, man, that's all I got. Not much. Good luck.